Good morning again, everyone, because we always wanted to have this morning mindset to welcome our friends who we don't even meet in person or we don't even work in anything together, but we have one thing in common, like everyone who listening right now or later on, which is dedication to our development journey. And we have Mas here in the house from the country that I had a great time, and also a person who has sparked the world with his speech through gifts and got the third place in the world champion public speaking. So great gratitude to have Mas. Mas, share with us.
Thank you very much, everyone, and a very, very good morning. And as Jen mentioned, right, good mornings are a great way to start the day, to receive something new, something inspirational, and probably you'll be able to get a great head start in the day. So if you're tuning in from Malaysia, hi, yeah, as a fellow Malaysian, it's good to hear and see you here. And if you're tuning in from Vietnam or any part of the world, very, very warm welcome to this podcast. It's a pleasure to hear from you and see you in this podcast as well. So my name is Mas Mahathir, and it's such a pleasure to be invited by Jen. So thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you, Mas. And I know you didn't come to Vietnam before, and we love to welcome you in person. And this online sharing, I think, is a great start. And I think everyone who is listening to us right now may have different keywords. But one of the keywords that we want to bring to everyone is to spark the inner voice. And especially if you are working as an entrepreneur or leader or an influencer, having the voice with the potential, the values, the power, and the spirit to serve all in one. I think it is what we really like to learn from Mas. And I like to learn how was that look like the first time when you expose yourself to speak in front of other people.
If I were to look back in the past, speaking in front of other people is something that didn't come easy to me. And I believe most of us, it won't come easy to us as well. Being in front of people, the fear of what they think about us, the fear of whether we're going to sound stupid, say the wrong things, those are real tangible fears. And it was the same for me as well. So at the start of my journey, I actually started at the age of 5, not by choice. And I needed to speak in front of people because my parents want me to be someone of self-confidence, right? To build self-esteem. So the first ever presentation that I did was in a group called Toastmasters. And this was in a group of 30 people. And I remembered when the topics master gave me a topic, I froze, just like what I did just now. Nothing came out. And I started to panic. I started to worry. And although I walked off the stage without saying anything, the people in the crowd were very nice. They just clapped along and said, good job anyway. And that was kind of a good encouragement and boost. But my parents never gave up. They decided to keep taking me to more opportunities to speak more in front of people, right? And it was only when I was 16 years old when I started to realize a huge dramatic shift in the speaking. And this is because when our class, we had to do an English speaking assignment. And the moment I finished that assignment, something in me felt good. And to see the marks showing that I was one of the highest felt even better. But the best part was I've discovered the passion in speaking. The fear was still there, but at least with more exposure and opportunity, I got better. So if you're someone who constantly fear speaking in front of people, I think one of the simplest way is to continuously put yourself in that situation of discomfort, and that's where growth happens.
Beautiful. So the takeaway is to really think about the one fear, either public speaking you have, then it's a great story from you, or another kind of fear. And maybe either a sign for us to just get it going, because we're going to feel the fear anyway, but we're going to step out of it. So that moment of you were 5 years old, I think also giving the hint to some parents who are listening to right now, maybe you can expose your children, you never know, another like version of Mas inspire other people in their own way. So I really like to see like that's 5 years old, and later on it goes to the community, and you keep going like that way, always being outspoken, or did you go down a bit and up again? What was that journey until now?
Okay, you're talking about my speaking journey, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I don't think there was always an upward trend. It was always a roller coaster. There were moments where I know I would do really good. There are moments where I didn't do so well. But eventually, what is the most important aspect, whether it is the ups or the downs in the journey, is what do you learn from it and what can you do better from it?
Mm,
Even at the high moments, you got to find out that what are the things that you could still do better from. And in the
mm,
down moments, don't feel defeated, receive feedback and do better. I think that was one of the things that my mentor used to tell me. Yeah.
mm,
And one person also told me this: you are only as good as your next speech. So this has been very profound to me, because you may be an excellent speaker right now, or the speeches that you gave in the past, but the next speech that you deliver is a whole new set of audiences with a whole new set of expectations. So what can you do to get better? Yeah, so whether it's up or down, don't stay complacent, don't feel defeated, find ways to improve.
Lovely. So it's kind of like we compete with our own self, and we only the one who really know like what next for us. And
Yes.
sometimes it's difficult to really like be that content and look within, because we're going to have a lot of people out there. So if you need to break it down into your stages of yourself as a speaker, how many stages, and what was that main like development regarding mindset and skill that you develop, because maybe our listeners can also work with you on the journey.
Okay, so the question is, what are the mindset needed and what are the skill sets needed to get there, right? Okay, so in terms of mindset, I think the most important mindset is a growth mindset. I think we all know this very well, right? Growth versus fixed mindset. But if I were to dive a little bit deeper into the idea of growth mindset, it is more towards, as I mentioned just now, every time when you do something, one of my motto is, what is something that I can do at least 1% better the next time?
Mm,
In Japan, we call this concept Kaizen.
mm,
Right? We try to find ways to improve even in the littlest things. Is it the confidence that I need to speak up more? Is it my stuttering? Is it my ah? Is it what? Find that and try to work on it at least 1% better every time. The second, when it comes to skill set, on the other hand, this one is a little bit different, because skill sets can only get better once you take time to not only have self-awareness, self-reflection, but also receiving feedback from other people.
mm,
Sometimes we are blinded with what we see in ourselves. For example, when you write a perfect speech, a perfect story, and when you look back at it, you yourself will feel that this is perfect. There's nothing else I can improve on, right? But when you share it to someone else and someone said, hey, this part, not so nice, not so good, that's where
mm,
you know how to further improve. So
mm,
skill-wise, self-awareness comes first.
mm,
Aware that you need to grow, aware that you need to change. Then self-reflection, watching back your videos, watching back your performance, how do you feel about it? And getting feedback.
mm.
Then you will develop the skills needed to be a competent speaker.
Lovely. You even share with us some of the habits that I will ask at the end of the videos, but we have this now. So how could you know it's a time to raise the next level? If we talk about speaking, right? Because I believe there will be a time where you can feel like, really, I'm in the next level. And maybe some of our friends here who don't work on speaking as a main thing, but they may also want to see when the time I need to raise the game.
Okay, there is actually no time for you to do that. Now, what do I mean by this? I know it is very different from what the answers normally out there, but there really is no time, which means that if you're already good, then don't stay good. Try your best to go great. If you're already bad, don't stay bad. Try your best to get to good. So wherever level you are always trying your best to go higher and higher. You can never feel that you are already there. That's where
Mm,
the biggest downfall is. So it doesn't matter whether you are speaking as a career, like a public speaking coach, or you are using this in your day-to-day life, in your current job. When you speak and you are given the opportunity to present, maybe it's a proposal, maybe it's meeting with a client, this is where you need to ask yourself, where am I now? What is one thing that I can do better the next round? And just do that.
So how can a person who actually like practice it as a part of their life and make speaking as a tool, but then turn it to become a career like you are doing right now? What is that transition? What kind of elements that they need to do more?
So your question is, how do they become a public speaking coach? Is that correct?
Or make it as a career, speaking as a career.
Speaking as a career, wow.
Because there's some leaders or entrepreneurs, I think they may use it for their businesses or their life, but may not like to really make as a career, make the money out of it. Yeah.
Ah, okay, got it. So if you're venturing or thinking of venturing into speaking as a career, first of all, I think anyone can do that. Anyone can do that, yeah. Because the thing is, when we start off in our career as a speaking journey, first of all, we need to know what we are niche in, what we are good in the niche that we are. For example, if you're good in sales, that's it, go into sales, right? And you can do speaking on sales, negotiation, IT, whatever it is. So turning it into speaking as a career is not that difficult if you already have a niche that you are good at. And one thing that I'm a fan of is confidence comes before competence, which means that if you are competent in your subject matter, then if you are going to speak, you will be confident. And it's easy to transition to a speaking as a career. So find what is your niche. What are you good at? What are you passionate about? What do you love? Then develop that. Slowly but surely, you will have the confidence to become a speaker in that particular field.
So how was that journey for you? Like you got that passion and you felt that that is the thing that you like to do to be able to connect with others through speaking. And did you define your niche as you said? And then how did you connect all these dots?
Okay, so when I graduated from university many years back, I graduated in psychology. So I did have passion in how the mind works and how people are brought into certain things, how they like certain things. I like that. I like that. So after graduating, I was put into a training company because this is a family friends company. So I was lucky to join that organization. And as I joined that organization, I loved the idea of training. I love the idea of going to corporate companies, helping their organizations to improve their skill sets. I love doing that. But when it comes to public speaking as a training, this only happened once I left that organization. Because what happened was in Malaysia at that time, there weren't many public speaking trainers in Malaysia. There are presentation skills trainers for corporates, but there weren't many for public speaking in general, for the general public. There weren't many. So my partner and I, Dr. Jolene, we decided to embark on this journey because number one, we not only saw that this is an opportunity that can be tapped, but number two, because I was exposed to public speaking, I found the passion in speaking, I decided to hone my skills. It took me a while, which means that I went through a lot of training stage times. I went through a lot of courses. I took a lot of certifications just so that I could get my mindset right and what I teach right. And then slowly I moved on into that particular business. And one other thing that I found very useful is find a mentor early on. Yeah, I was lucky because I met an idol of mine in Malaysia who is one of the champion speakers. And when I asked him to mentor me as a speaker, he was more than happy to mentor me. And even up to today, ever since I started up to today, he was still my mentor. So if you find a mentor, you add value in your mentor's life. Your mentor will add value to your life as well.
And when a student ready, the mentor is already there, right? So everyone who is listening right now, maybe contact Max. You never know, either mentorship or partnership. So thank you for that journey that you described, because I think for some of us who are listening, maybe we can think of the skill or what we're doing well and how we really like kind of, let's say I can call it commercialize it or make it a part of life, but also making impact. So if we are talking to some of our friends here who may not have speaking as a career, but they also develop and involve their entrepreneurial and leadership and impact journey, what is the kind of hinder that you think that we normally have, because you study psychology, you understand how human mind work? What is that hinder? What is the thing that hinder us the most
When it comes to speaking, is it?
in general?
In general, wow. What is the thing that hinders us the most? Well, there are many reasons. There are many reasons. If I were to think of one of the few, it could be because of the mindset of how we understand situations and how we deal with those situations. For example, if let's just say that you have to do a speech, for example, in your company, some people may say that, you know what, it's okay, someone else would do it. That is one hindrance, right? It's a barrier because even people like Warren Buffett has shared that if you develop public speaking skills and learn public speaking skills, you have just made yourself 50% more valuable in the workplace. So people, whatever they do, whenever they have the mindset of it's okay, someone else will do it, this is where you already put up the barrier. And that will separate you between the great people and the people who are left behind. Yeah, so these people here, they will have lesser chances of promotion, lesser chances to move up the rank, or even less opportunities to do other things in the organization. Yeah, so that's first, the it's okay mindset.
Yeah, do nothing about it.
Yeah, exactly, right? So if you have that mindset, that it's okay mindset, my challenge for you is change that whole thing around, right? It's not okay. It's not okay to stay where you are, right? So it is better for us to do what's difficult than do what's easy. Because do what's difficult will help you to grow. Do what's easy will help you to stay where you are.
So yeah, I think that's one is very straight to the point. And if anyone who feeling that I am okay, and why not saying like, so I am great, how can I make that feeling happen?
Yeah.
And as Matt also mentioned, I think the book name Good to Great is also a reminder. So we actually maybe are here, we are meant to more, and we may not discover what else in the deeper inner self. So we will go back to this topic, and Matt mentioned on the it's okay. And I think like we probably, there's some people will may think, okay, Matt and some of the speaker have great energy, right? And there's so many different kind of the way of influencing other people as a leader or entrepreneur. And maybe they may ask like, whether I should really be that kind of outgoing or that kind of very energetic, or how can I actually still not stay in the it is okay, go into the it is great, but in the style or the way of myself, not like so energetic. So how can a person who actually can somehow identify that clearly the style for themselves as a leader and using public speaking to be great?
Wow, that's a very good question. So how do you identify your style, especially in the field of public speaking, to help you as a leader, right? Or to help you get there? Well, first of all, I think that when it comes to finding your style, the most important aspect, and this is something I teach a lot of my clients as well, is to find the real you or the authentic you. Now, why this is very important is because that when people tend to speak on stage, and I've seen this many times, they have what I call as stage mode and off stage mode. It means that on stage, they will sound completely different than who they are off stage. Maybe, for example, off stage, they're very casual, they're very fun, they're very lively, but on stage, they're a totally different persona. Even the way they speak, the accent is totally different, right? So this in itself can already tell whether we are being true to ourselves or authentic to ourselves. So if you want to be a leader, especially a leader that that really connects with people, a leader that really have that ability to lead people, the first thing that comes from the home or place of authenticity. When you are authentic, people feel you, they will follow you. If you're not authentic, it's hard for them to connect with you. So the first step to identifying yourself is ask yourself when you're presenting, when you are giving your speeches, how are you presenting? And are you presenting in a way that is truly you? Or are you putting up a mask? Or maybe you're copying someone's style and trying it on your own. What are you doing with that? And once you do that, my next step for you is please record yourself. You may lie to yourself, but the camera will never lie. So when you watch back the video, you might be thinking to yourself, well, I don't think I copied anyone. I think I sound pretty good. But then you watch back the video, it's like, yeah, maybe I copied someone's style. Yeah. So when you identify that, watch back, self-reflect, then you'll be able to be a better leader.
Lovely, because you go back to the self-awareness thing and keep reflecting and also looking at our own behaviors and performance or maybe emotion, and then can realize some dimension of that. And the authenticity is so beautiful, because I remember this story. It stuck me when you reminded me about this point. The story of Oprah Winfrey. I think maybe every one of us somehow heard about her in a way. And she's just so great at what she did. And we started as a reporter, and I think she also like wanted to be like a barber, who was the lady which is great in what she doing. It's like somebody now like want to be like mass, for example, and then she just try to do exactly the way that barber did. And one time she called one name like wrongly, and she would thought to herself, oh, Baba would never actually do that. And then from that point, she just laughed and cracked herself on the show. And then that was a time where she would feel like, wow, that is me, real me. The other me was so like trying to be like the other lady. From that moment, I think it was like a life-changing moment for her career, because her authenticity was out, and that inner power was just like so convincing, and so persuasive, and I just like love that authenticity from
Yes.
her. And when you mentioned that, I also felt like, yeah, that is one of the power that we all have, being the true authentic self. But somehow we also may wonder, how can we really know this is the authentic self or this is the easy self? Because maybe sometimes we say like, oh, this is me, I am introvert and I am that. So how can we really like distinguish that actually the authentic self, but great self, or is it the okay and avoiding self?
Okay. So I think from this, right, I can see two possible questions. One about introversion, and the other one is how do you identify whether this style is really authentic to you, right? Okay,
Mm.
so the first one, introversion. Now, for those who are tuning in right now, and if you feel that you're an introvert, I think you can just type in the chat or just share around. Yeah, so we get to see some response. But for those who are introverted, maybe we can dissect this a little bit first, because this is very important for the second one. When it comes to introverts, most of the time people tend to think introverts are people who just don't like to talk, just don't like to voice out. But that's actually far from the truth. Introverts and extroverts do not differ based on what they say. It differs based on where they grab their energy from. An extrovert grabs energy from other people. An introvert grabs energy from their own rest time, their own alone time. And introverts may actually be talking more to someone that they trust compared to an extrovert. So we should not determine introversion, extroversion as whether I talk more or I have the ability to stand up and speak more, because sometimes it's just where they grab energy from. Yeah. So with that being said, if you are using introvert as an excuse to not speak up, then I hope this will be an awakening to put that one side. Yeah. Introverts is just about energy and where you get energy from. Which leads me to the second one. How do you then identify your authentic self, the real you? Very simple. How would you talk to someone that you really trust? That's it. You know, people that you are very comfortable with, someone that you've been speaking to them on a day-to-day basis. If the way that you're speaking to them is the same that you speak on stage, maybe plus minus a little bit of professionalism because it's a work environment, then you have an authentic self right there, right? Some people, the easiest way to identify whether they are not authentic is by the tone of their voice. They may be trying to use a heavily different accent. They may be trying so hard to force the enthusiasm that's not them. So the thing is, we need to just get comfortable with how we normally speak to others, get that and understand that that's you, then bring out the best of it on the stage. That will be the only simple formula. Now, for those who might also be wondering, wait, Mahathir, you know, just now Jen was talking about energy and all that. I'm a very low energy person. Should I speak low energy on stage? So the answer is no. The answer is no. Yeah. There's something that I learned from Vin Gyang. I think some of you would know Vin Gyang as well, right? Vin Gyang brought up this concept, which really stuck by me. He said that when we try something different, it is not unnatural for us, it is unfamiliar to us. And I love this concept because it is a great awakening for me, because some people say that when I try to force my energy, I force my enthusiasm, it's unnatural, so I don't do it. And they will always stay in their comfort zone. So turning that unnatural mindset and changing it into an unfamiliar mindset, then working to improve it, it will become part of your familiar system.
Wow, that's powerful. It's like we so like easy to choose some easy choices by thinking that is a thing make us not us, but actually maybe it is just because we are not familiar with that, and maybe that would be great tools for us to nurture our best gift from inside us.
Yes.
So yeah, that's one. Yeah, working on this one. So everyone, I think if you think something is important, let's say inspire somebody, and if you use some of the things as an excuses, I think that also a sign for us to know that maybe that's is like something coming from the fears or doubts or social norms, but not really coming from the spirit to serve from the inside. So what is the most important thing? Then we're gonna make everything secondary, not really much. So what is the thing that you, let's say, little voices that you had the most, and then you overcome that to really tune in to be your authentic self?
Okay. The little voices that sometimes comes in is things like, will people like the real me? Will people accept the real me? Would I sound a bit too squeaky, too monotonous? Would I sound a bit too unflattering? So these are all the little voices in our minds that always tend to cloud us, even myself when I was starting out in this journey. And sometimes the voice that comes in will also end up saying things like, am I good enough? Right? So the way that I actually countered this is actually very simple. We use a technique called reframing. Reframing is one technique, I believe is in NLP, that helps us to change the situation of how we see things. And just by adding one simple word after your questions, it can dramatically change how you view the situation. For example, if you say things like, I'm not good enough, right? By adding this one word, you can change the perspective, which is the word YET, yet. I'm not good enough, yet, right? My voice is too squeaky, there's nothing I can do about it, yet. So when we add that thing, that simple word yet, we are now seeing in a different perspective of, okay, it's not an absolute that I can't do it, but I can do something about it, right? So reframing, whenever that negative thought comes into you, reframe that with the word yet, and then find a way to work on it.
I am not like math yet.
There you go.
Okay, if somebody like comparing the way you speak to math or someone that you're listening or anything, put the word yeah. So thank
Yes.
you. that is like the intention for doing something about it, not stopping there. In
Yes.
that, it is okay. But let's go to the it is great. So it is great that we're gonna move a little bit. And we had a question from the audience, and I'm gonna pick one. And one is that, do you think that practicing the speaking can sometimes take the time as an entrepreneur to do the business? That's an interesting one.
Hmm.
Because it's like, I think the intention of this question is like, the speaking seem to be like the outgoing thing, and people may think that that person only speak, but whether he or she does something actually. So there's some people, they may make it conflicted, the two great things. So what is your idea on this?
Okay, so perhaps if I could just help to re-clarify the question. The question is about as an entrepreneur, what are sorry, can you read the question? Because I
Yeah,
think
it's like as an entrepreneur, especially when you just started your journey,
yes,
you have a lot of works to do, and you
yeah.
may wear different hats. And the speaking is another kind of energy. It's like you're probably going here or there to share, and that makes some people feel like that person is speaking, but actually he or she should actually do the work. So maybe some people, they feel the two things conflicted, but actually the two things are both great, right? So what is your idea on this sharing or this question?
Okay, that's a great question. Thank you so much for asking that question. I would have to agree with Jen on this. Speaking and doing the entrepreneurial work, they should come hand in hand. Speaking is part of the work. You can't separate them, and you should not separate them, because I love the part where Dan Locke is one of a speaker right now in Canada. He says that you need to be the best salesperson or the best spokesperson in your organization. You have to do it better than anyone. If someone in the company can do better than you, then that says a lot about your business, right? So if you are in this entrepreneurial journey, I get it. Sometimes in business, we tend to be what we call as the technician, the person who just do the work, right? But sometimes, at the start of our entrepreneurial journey, despite doing the work, no one else will know what you're doing unless you speak about it, you talk about it, you present it. And if, let's just say, you have the best product in the world, let's call it the message, give this message to the wrong messenger, the message is lost, right?
That's beautiful. We also remember about Steve Jobs, right? He's a great CEO, and he great presenter, and that really helped him overweight the other kind of CEO, which not really speaking or giving the good message. But then the question continues, because you mentioned on the path like great message to the not great messenger. Already somehow answer the question that our friend asked next. He just mentioned that, what about I'm just focusing on my thing, and then there will be somebody that gonna be the one who talk about it.
Okay. Well, my question to you now is, are you okay with that? That is the big question, right? Are you okay with just letting that person take all that responsibility to speak? Or would you want to take a chance and say, can I present once, twice, just give it a chance? That will set you differently. Yeah. Because speaking up equals showing up. That is just the law of the world right now. Showing up adds visibility to you, to your superiors, to your teammates, and that also builds credibility and trust. So the question is, are you okay with that, or are you going to take the opportunity to at least try once?
Yeah, I think it's also come back to the self-awareness and the choice.
Yes.
Because if it's your choice and then you think it's the best choice for you, go for that. But if I think when we have a kind of like consideration, or maybe thinking about should I that or this, maybe this is a sign that we should do something about it, because it may come from the fear. So nice we can apply some of the part that you said, like putting the yet or maybe practice or take the chance one time and reflect. And if we think, okay, let's one more time, and we never know. Another master inspirational come. All right. So the next question would be, when must you mention on the part of the passion, right? You realize that was the thing that you wanted to do, and a friend here also wanted to dig a bit deeper. How could you know that was a passion could make a career, or it should be only the passion itself for doing and in a way of liking it, but not in a way of making a career? How can a person really know that passion should turn to be a career?
Oh, how would someone know to turn passion into career? Oh, wow, that's a very good question. Well, there are many schools of thoughts here, all right, and I grew up with two schools of thoughts. The first school of thought is never ever turn your passion into career, right? It will turn into a nightmare. Okay? Because you may love doing just that one simple thing. If let's just say it's public speaking, you may just love doing public speaking. But when you turn into a career, guess what? You may start working on other things such as admin, marketing, social media, PR, this and that. And you start to hate doing that already. And that passion will become a nightmare. Right? So that's one school of thought that I grew up with. But there was also another school of thought. And this school of thought is by Steve Harvey. Yeah, I think most people know Steve Harvey, the Family Feud guy. Yeah? And he said that each and every one of us actually are born with a certain gift. And this gift is something that when we do it, it's simple, it's easy, it comes natural to us, right? This is a sign that it says that it's a gift given to you to spread to the world. So I believe that despite, having this whole problem here, we also need to utilize that gift because this is something given to us. How can we then capitalize it and do more for other people? Yeah. So if you have that deep passion that you really love, that you really want to do something about it, well, first of all, don't quit your job just to try it. Slow, steady steps. Yeah, that's a side gig, a side hustle. Get comfortable with it, and then see how it develops from there. Yeah, don't just jump straight away.
Lovely. So I think it can relate to a lot of people here, no matter what is that passion, which kind of area. And to lead to the next one, how did you really identify your chosen targeted audience? So you talk about turn that passion to a career, and maybe that there was a journey. So how did you finally know, oh, there is my audience? It's just like an entrepreneur need to identify the target customer.
Okay. So when you mean audience, for me, what do you mean by that? Do you mean as speaking to an audience or how?
Yeah, it's like a customer who pay you, right? Because you make it a career. Because as
Okay.
an entrepreneur here, they love to know about how can you identify your customer persona, the people who would actually pay for that products or price or that gift that you have.
Good question. All right. So how will you know that the things that you do will be able to generate some form of income, or the people who would buy into your product or your service?
Who would be the one who would buy it? Yeah.
So who would be the one who would buy it? Well, first things first, the people who first buys your product, especially I would exclude family and friends because they are not really a real customer. They're just a one-time off buyer. Maybe they will support in future. Yeah. But the one that who really buys your first product, that is the person that you need to treat them as a king or queen. Yeah, this is very important. When we started out our business as well, we were very lost. But when we had our first client who gave us a call, we treated them like royalty because we wanted to build long relationships with them. We wanted to build a good connection with them. We wanted to understand them. And from that one client, it's spinning off to many, many other opportunities because this client referred to another person, got us into corporate training, got us to this. And you just don't know that one person has a lot of backbones of network. So when you start off with your passion, treat your first customer or the first few customers as royalty. Treat them well, get to know them, be personal with them, and you will see wonders from that.
Lovely. That reminded me about Bob. Probably know him, right? Bob Proctor, and he was starting his career with a seminar, and there was only a person showed up where he wanted to have around 100, I remember, and he just told himself that he could present as 100 people there, and that one person actually had a lot of backbone network, as you said, a great rich business person, if I remember correctly, and his career took off thanks to that one person.
Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, we never know. And if you are stepping into this journey where Matt's probably gonna be somebody like very first time sharing with you, maybe you can also use it mentality to connect with Matt and to create a partnership. I don't know in the future, but take it as a great opportunity. And we have the very next question. This question is very interesting. Are you speaking English as your first language, or I know that in Malaysia, like same, right? Because I have a friend here, I'm sure that uh, like as Vietnam, we have Vietnamese as a main language. And he said, how can you be that authentic person when you speak in English language or another language that which is not your mother language? I thought this is a hard question for me to answer, Matt, so please help me out.
Okay, so the question is, how do you still remain authentic or speak authentically in a different language, right? Well,
Yeah.
first of all, to answer the question, I would like to believe that English is my first language because this is something that I speak in school a lot and also speak at home most of the time. The second language that we have to learn is Bahasa Malaysia. And yeah, this is a language we all need to know, right? So yeah. So how do I then speak in a different language yet sound authentic? Well, my answer to this is don't be perfect. It is that simple. Yeah. What do I mean by perfect? When someone tries to speak in another language, sometimes they may be focusing on sounding right all the time, sounding correct all the time, right? So when they do that, they become inauthentic. They sound inauthentic. So the first step is be okay with the mistakes in your language. Doesn't matter if you got the accent right or wrong. You don't have to follow their accent. Whichever comfortable accent to you, that works. Yeah, some people always tell me as well, Mahathir, your Bahasa Malaysia doesn't sound very Melayu, very Malay. I was like, yeah, well, that's how I speak, because I grew up in a different style of communication. But that also does not mean that you should be okay with remaining where you are. There is one technique that I love to use to improve in the way that I speak is that whenever I know I have to speak Bahasa in a certain training event, a certain keynote presentation, what I'll do is for that 1 week, I would listen to some Malay songs, read some Malay words, watch some Malay movies, to kind of get myself in the right mindset, So if you are going for a presentation, maybe your first language is Vietnamese, but you have to do an English presentation for this, and spend that 1 week, watch some English, listen to some English songs. It will help you with the way that you vocalize it.
It's beautiful. It's kind of like going to our subconscious mind and immerse in that environment. So if you are here and tomorrow you have presentation, I think mass sharing today is going to contribute to some part of your emotion and your passion that you want to spark tomorrow. And I know that we have to close our session today because we have a chance to meet you in the future for sure. And so I have the 5-second rule, which is asking you some question that we can take away and then you answer in 5 seconds. But normally you will not answer in 5 seconds. The idea is to answer in the short way where people can actually take it home apart from all the things that they learned today. But this is very condensed takeaways. So the first one, you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. So yeah, I probably asked the first one, like, do you believe or do you think it's true or not, and why? This is my personal question. I want to ask this not in the preparation, but it is more about Malaysia, because I remember some friends said the best Indian food outside of India is in Penang, Malaysia. The best Chinese food outside of China is in Penang, Malaysia. So what is your thought on it? I was in Malaysia almost 2 years, and I'm not a really food person, but I really like to hear your idea on this question.
Okay, so in 5 seconds, my answer is yes, Penang food is best.
Thank you. Yeah, so everyone, oh yeah, thank you for somebody told me that. I think this is a great way to remember about Penang, and bigger picture is about Malaysia. And thank you, Master. You made us remember and feel like we had to go there again. Second question, I would say the first one in the list of related to the speaking and our topic today. You talk about the importance of mentor. So share with us 3 mentors, either people or books or anything that can be our mentors. So we
Okay,
can spark our inner confidence.
okay. So in terms of 3 mentors, well, I'll start off with my own personal mentor, which is my mentor Sim Bok San. So he has helped me for a long time in terms of speaking. So if you're in Vietnam, you don't have to look far. Look within your community, your friends, your workplace. There's surely someone that you know speaks very well. Ask them for some guidance. Ask them to mentor you. All right, just ask. You'll never know the answer. The second one, this is a book that I really love. It's by Matthew Dix. The book title is called Storyworthy. Yeah, Storyworthy. I love the book. The book really dives into the details of how to tell stories in a way that engages people. And storytelling is the way forward to get difficult messages across in a digestible manner. So if you want to improve in the way that you connect with your audience and help them to see different perspectives, storytelling is the way. So Matthew Dix, Storyworthy. In fact, these are the only 2 things that I really love and will be considered my mentors.
Maybe the third one, mass, here can be a choice. So if you we know that we don't take action always after we hearing something, but we never know. It is a chance we plant the seed. So one day we hear from your story with mass, maybe. The next one, what would be the 3 habits for an entrepreneur or leader? Wake up each day and feel passionate about what they do, and also putting public speaking as part of their agenda. I think you mentioned some of the things during the conversation, but we can condense it.
Yeah, great. If I were to condense it down, I think there's only one very, very important one. And this is said by 2001 world champion Darren LaCroix, where he said, stage time, stage time, stage time. That's it. It's as simple as that, which means that if you have an opportunity to speak, speak. Don't care whether it's your brown bag session, it's your lunch and learn session, don't care if it's your company retreat, whatever it is, take the opportunity to have that stage time. You will see a stark difference.
Lovely. Stage time. Even, like if we walk out of the building, I remember when I was in the UK, I went to the shop, the place where the guy selling fruit, and then I said, can I have 2 minutes of you? And I gave a speech in front of him, and he was he was so interesting. So stage time anywhere if you want. And now we have Zoom, right? So you can turn on the Zoom and call, hey, can you come here and listen? So next one. If you need to do something out of what you are doing right now, what would be that one thing?
Oh, wow. This is really, really, really tough. To be honest, if I were to do one thing outside what I'm doing right now, it would not be something that I would do for money anymore. Yeah, it would be totally something more relaxing and just, nothing special anymore. The reason why I say this is because that I think I've already found my gift. I found my passion, and that is speaking. And every day when I speak, when I talk, when I train and coach, I've always find the joys in doing that. So it's really hard to think about something else other than the gift that I'm given.
Lovely. So I think like you do more of it and have more people to do it. Just like continue growing that
Yes,
greatness.
correct.
We love to have that feeling where we don't feel really working much, but it's more about like living, truly living and enjoy what we are doing.
That's right.
For sure, there will be challenges. Yeah. So we find the joy out of that. The next one would be if you come to Vietnam, what would be the first thing you want to discover? Oh, I love this one.
Okay, the first thing that I would like to discover in Vietnam is definitely the language, because I have done coaching with a few people from Vietnam before. I love the language. I love it. It is very nice when you speak it. I can't remember the exact words, but they taught me a few, but I can't remember. But I like the words.
Xin chào.
Xin chào.
Cảm ơn. You say thank you.
Yeah, there
So
you
maybe
go.
I start speak Vietnamese now, right? Okay. Okay. Thank you. And I was in Malaysia. I didn't speak Malay. Oh my God. Yeah, that it made me feel like I had to do something about it, at least some words when I go back. So the next one, I think you mentioned on a book, and if you leave the planet, wow, what is the book that you leave behind
If I leave the planet, what is the book that I will leave
and
behind?
written by you?
Wow, written by me. Wow. Okay, that's a very nice question. If I were to really reflect on this, I think the book that I'll write is definitely about how do you speak that will allow you to create impact and change for the world, which means that how do you then structure your presentations? How do you then speak in a way that touches the heart, not just the ears or the eyes, right? You want to really let the listeners feel what you want to say, because we are social creatures. We are people with emotions. So it's not just about data, statistics, and facts. It's about how to connect on a human and heart level. So I think that will be something that I'll be working on.
I think you did it to us today. You connected us with your mind, your soul, and your spirit. Even like, we didn't hug you in person, but we feel that we connect in that level. So thank you for that holistic, coherent love that you have for us today, and also your wisdom. And one very last one. This is final 30 seconds of like a show of president running for president, and you give a challenge for everyone to go home and spark their inner voice, their inner confidence, and inner beauty. What would be that 30-second giving challenge and also inspiration?
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, for those who are tuning in, I'm sure that the reason why you're tuning in today is because you felt the need to improve. You felt that you have something that you want to grow. And that's why you're here, rather than spending time watching Netflix or listening to something else, right? You're here because you want to grow. And that in itself has already told Jen and I that you have that passion. You have the need and the want to do better. So my challenge for you is very simple. Believe in what you do, believe in what you say, speak from the heart, because that's where, when you go out there, the people that listen to you, they are going to be touched and they are going to be connected with you. So never forget that you have a voice. Don't hide that voice away. Use that to speak it out and speak with confidence. Thank you.
People believe in what you believe rather than believe in what you say, but believe that you believe in that. So I'm very thankful today, because I just feel that you speak from your heart because you believe what you say, and that made me feel that I want to believe in what I'm going to put out there. And I believe that is for everyone, especially Tai, who is here from the very first hour with us. So thank you, Mas. Enjoy your journey of continuous sparking more voices and confidence of entrepreneurs, leaders, and bring it to Vietnam in person.